Thanks for tuning in to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Weatherby cartridges and whether they are inherently accurate or not. So in this video, I'm going to answer the question, are they inherently accurate? I'm also going to talk about some of the myths about its accuracy, and we're going to compare it to the competition. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Are Weatherby rifles inherently accurate? Now, before I answer that question, let's just go over or set kind of the bar of the standard for accuracy so that you are kind of on the same page with me. It's going to be different for each person, but where I set the bar with bolt guns for hunting, if a rifle is not going to be MOA or smaller, that's kind of where the bar is. It has to be MOA. That's kind of the starting point, the bar. And so to answer the question, the Weatherbys, yes, they are inherently accurate, and they are actually remarkably accurate. Now let me explain why it's remarkable that they are MOA or smaller. In the Nosler book, it says the chambers have free bore, so the Weatherbys, meaning they have a longer throat. For this reason, it is generally not possible to seat a bullet close to or in contact with the lands/rifling. And that is correct. So Roy Weatherby designed these cartridges to have a lot of free bore. So what does that do? Well, it increases the velocity and it decreases the pressure so that you can get that velocity up. And typically people will say, well, yeah, if you're going to have a bullet, jump so much, not usually going to be as accurate if you're just seating it, 200ths off the lands. So it really is remarkable that all of the Weatherby cartridges are guarantee sub-MOA, and that a lot of them are going to be shooting half-inch or even smaller as well. Let's talk about some of the myths that you might have heard about Weatherby cartridges or Weatherby rifles. Now, anything you've heard about a Weatherby, the rifles are really nice, they look amazing, and they're also really expensive, which in most cases, yeah, that's true. They are expensive. Some of the other myths you might have heard is that, well, the Weatherby cartridges are fast, but on the accuracy. If you want a gun that's going to be accurate, steer somewhere else other than a Weatherby cartridge. The next myth you might have heard is that, if you can get a Weatherby cartridge to be accurate, you better just be okay with shooting one bullet because they're really picky cartridges. And I want to talk about how that's also a little bit untrue. So the first myth of, Weatherby cartridges are fast, but they're very meh on accuracy. I think it all stems from, Weatherby rifles having a lot of free bore. And so in general terms, the closer you can seat the bullet to the lands, generally you're going to find better accuracy. And with a Weatherby cartridge, that's just not going to be possible. The bullet will be out of the neck before it hits the lands, or close to being not even in the neck. That's how much free bore these have. But here's my counter argument. Weatherby, as I said before, guarantees sub-MOA, and I have found, and the vast majority of Weatherby owners will completely agree with me, is that they can get easily sub-MOA. And a lot of times, a lot of Weatherby owners are saying they're getting half-inch groups or quarter-inch groups. They're just accurate rifles. So that's one thing that is a big bonus with these Weatherby cartridges, is they're only going to be chambered in Weatherby rifles, at least in the last, 5 to 10 years. Weatherby is the only one making a rifle in a Weatherby cartridge. And so they kind of have that quality control taken care of because they're the only ones really making it. The next myth that I've heard with Weatherby cartridges is, well, yeah, you can get one bullet to be accurate, but good luck getting, more than that one bullet accurate, you're basically stuck with that bullet. I have found that to be wrong in my case with my 300 Weatherby. Okay, so here are some of the results. Now, guys, I know some of you are going to be flaming me in the comments like, oh, you think that's accurate? Ha, that's funny. Yes, I know. 3/4 inch groups are not amazing accuracy, but again, the bar is set at being sub MOA, and this definitely is. Okay, so my rifle has liked the 200 grain AccuBond, which is going almost 3,100 feet per second and gets a 3/4 inch group, which definitely good enough to hunt with. Okay, another one. This group's not as good, but it's shooting a 175 LRX, a little under MOA, 0.892, at 3,315 feet per second. Yes, it's going over 3,300 feet per second. A 175 LRX. And this one's probably the most impressive to me. This is a 180 grain partition in my 300 Weatherby. You know, the partition is really the standard of all hunting bullets. And the only knock that people have on the partition is it's not a very accurate bullet. It's expected that, you know, you're just going to get around 1.5 inches accuracy. So I am extremely excited that my Weatherby likes this bullet, that it's shooting under 3/4 inch groups. And then there's one other bullet that my rifle likes that I just didn't save the target. It was barely MOA, but it's shooting a 130 grain Ttsx Barnes bullet, and that one's going mid 3,700 feet per second. So in my experience, my rifle, the Weatherby cartridge, has liked at least 4 bullets, and it possibly could like a lot more if I could get more bullets. Okay, so are the Weatherby cartridges as inherently accurate as some of the most inherently accurate cartridges you can find? In front of me in the middle are some of the 2 most accurate cartridges you could probably get, which is the 308 Winchester and the 6.5 Creedmoor. Obviously there's a bunch of others that are very accurate as well. This is just what I have. And in general terms, probably not. The Weatherby cartridges are going to be just a little bit more pickier than these 2. But I think they fare very well against other popular hunting cartridges, say like the 270 Winchester, the 30-06, or the 300 Win Mag, or the 7mm Remington Mag. I think they measure up very well against those. So why are these not as inherently accurate? I think a big part of it, all of these Weatherby cartridges, well, let's just say you're not going to see a slow, mild recoiling Weatherby cartridge. And I think that is a big part of it, is that when you get a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor that has hardly any recoil, you're going to shoot better. So I think that's part of why people say these cartridges are inherently accurate, and why some of these Weatherby cartridges are kind of hard to shoot accurately, is that some people just struggle with the insane amount of recoil they have. My last point that I want to talk about is for those bench rest shooters, precision shooters, you know, probably the things I've talked about just aren't that impressive. You know, I most likely have not convinced you to ever get a Weatherby cartridge, and that's fine. But I kind of want to talk about how well the Weatherby cartridges, at least this one, has done in, you know, the bench rest world. This here is a 30-378 Wetherby Magnum. In the 50s, the U.S. military came to Roy Weatherby and asked for an ultra-high velocity cartridge that the military could potentially use. And so Roy Weatherby came up with this. It's a 378 Weatherby, neck down to 30 caliber, that could provide velocities well over 4,000 feet per second, and with certain bullets, possibly over 5,000 feet per second. And for a long time, this was a Wildcat cartridge. And this Wildcat cartridge actually won and set many world records for accuracy. So not only did it set records in accuracy at 1,000 yards, but it also is the fastest factory offered cartridge. You know, if you put it up against the very popular formidable 300 Winchester mag, you can see, whew, this thing is a lot bigger and it will shoot bullets roughly about, oh, I don't know, probably 500 to 600 feet per second faster than a Winchester mag. Yeah, it is possible to get these to be extremely accurate. There is a YouTuber called The Real Gunsmith, and he builds custom rifles, and he has built a lot of 300 Weatherbys, and they're hunting rifles, but they are extremely accurate hunting rifles to where he can get them, you know, quarter inch or less. So yeah, you can get these Weatherbys to be really accurate.